Hello everyone, today we're going to be checking out some of the largest and most fascinating machines in the world. I had this idea because I clicked on a video about large machines, and now I can't stop watching these videos. Now to begin, we have here the Soviet-era excavator called the ESH-645. It literally walks, which is both insanely cool and also something I didn't know existed. I was intrigued, so I did some digging, and I found the website of the company that actually owns this excavator. Unfortunately, the website is in Russian, but luckily I'm good at clicking buttons. Machines like this are called walking excavators, for obvious reasons. Using this walking mechanism, it is able to maneuver on softer soil, putting less strain on the ground as opposed to the traditional excavator treads. As you can see here, it first takes a step, and then it sets its base back on the ground, spreading its weight over a greater surface area. This prevents it from sinking into the ground, unlike my future. Now, this particular walking excavator was manufactured in 1986. It is primarily used for the construction of canals and irrigation systems, and has a top speed of 0.133 meters per second or 0.3 miles per hour. Now, that is not particularly fast, which is why it's not called a running excavator. And if you didn't think this machine was cool enough, it also comes equipped with a comfortable cabin. Now, at 613,000 pounds, this is of course not one of the largest machines in the world. However, it makes a great setup for the next machine. Allow me to introduce to you Big Muskie, which was a massive walking excavator. At the time it was completed in 1969, it was the heaviest and largest land vehicle in the world, weighing 27 million pounds. It stood at a height of 222 feet tall, which for context is roughly a 22-story building, and was 487 feet long, roughly the length of 1.5 football fields. Its bucket had the capacity of 220 cubic yards, large enough to hold 2 Greyhound buses side to side. While working, Big Muskie consumed the equivalent of 27,500 homes worth of electric power. That is almost enough electricity to mine Bitcoin. In fact, the energy consumption was so high that special agreements had to be made with the local Ohio power companies to accommodate the extra strain on the power grid. During its 22 years of service, Big Muskie moved more than 608 million cubic yards of earth, enough to dig 2 Panama canals. However, with great power consumption comes great environmental responsibility. As time went on, Big Muskie's insane energy requirements brought it unwanted attention from the EPA. By that time, technology had already improved to the point where newer excavators were more energy efficient and cheaper to use. Attempts to sell Big Muskie to another mining company failed, and it was dismantled in 1999 for the equivalent of $700,000 worth of scrap metal. Now, before moving on to the next largest machine, there's something else I want to show you first. This here is the RK5000 of the Czech Republic. It turns out there's more than one way for these excavators to walk. Instead of an external foot like the previous examples, the RK5000 uses its outer shell as a foot of sorts. As it inches forward, it leaves behind these giant horseshoe-shaped imprints in the ground. Built in 1983, it is 130 feet tall and 524 feet long, requiring 6 people to operate. It is a bit smaller than Big Muskie, weighing 15,600 metric tons or 12.3 million pounds. A quick side note, making this video made me realize that there are multiple types of tons as a weight measurement. There is the US short ton, which is 2,000 pounds, the long ton, which is 2,240 pounds, the metric ton, which is 2,204.6 pounds, and the wonton, which is a Chinese dumpling. Having all these different types of tons definitely didn't give me a headache when making this video. Anyways, moving on, we have the largest terrestrial vehicle in the world, the Bagger 293, which is a massive wheel excavator from Germany. Built in 1995, it stands at 315 feet tall and is longer than 2 football fields with a length of 738 feet. It weighs a whopping 14,200 tons or 31.3 million pounds. The bucket wheel itself is over 70 feet in diameter with 18 buckets, each of which can hold 530 cubic feet of material. It uses these massive buckets to mine for coal, displacing 8.5 million cubic feet of soil and coal per day. The coal that it mines is carried over miles of conveyor belts before it is loaded onto a train and used to power one of 3 power plants. The power plants that the Bagger 293 feeds are the same power plants that it draws its own energy from. This comes in the form of 16.56 megawatts, or roughly the equivalent of 13,500 homes worth of electric power, which is about half the amount that Big Muskie used. Now, moving away from the surface, if you ever wondered how tunnels are made without explosives, here is what that looks like. These are called boring machines, not to be confused with boring classes.
So today I'm going to share with you the most important, most significant, most profound.
Okay, that's enough. While fascinating, the 2 boring machines I just showed you are nothing in size compared to Bertha, the largest pressure-balanced tunnel boring machine in the world. Its cutter head measured 57.5 feet in diameter, and the machine was 326 feet long, weighing a total of 13 million pounds. It was built in Osaka, Japan, and then assembled in the United States, where it was used to bore the 2-mile tunnel for Route 99 in Seattle, Washington. While boring through the earth, it ingests the rock and soil and uses it to maintain an internal pressure in the cutter head with the use of an Archimedes screw. This prevents the tunnel from collapsing on itself. Additionally, as it inches forward, it continuously reinforces and builds the walls of the tunnel surrounding it. On April 4th, 2017, Bertha emerged at the end of the tunnel in Washington. Having completed her job and with no parts that were reusable, Bertha was sadly disassembled for scrap metal. Okay, moving on. Have you ever wondered how NASA transports its rockets? No? Well, here it is anyways.
So today I'm going to share with you.
This is the NASA Crawler transport, and there are actually 2 of them. They were used to transport rockets from 1981 until 2011, which was when NASA stopped sending rockets to space. The Crawler transporter has a mass of 2,721 tons or 6 million pounds. While smaller than the Bagger 293 or Big Muskie, the NASA Crawler transport is the largest self-powered vehicle in the world, meaning that it does not need to be hooked up to a power source like the previous examples. Instead, it carries 5,000 gallons of diesel fuel, expending 1 gallon every 32 feet, and has a top speed of 1 mile per hour. While transporting its precious cargo, it uses a laser guidance system to maintain a level platform as it navigates inclines and declines. While it is currently not being used, NASA has plans to use it to transport spacecraft in the future. Okay, that's enough land vehicles for now. Let's move on to the air. Now, there is some debate regarding the largest plane in the world, and some people get emotional about this. However, based on my research, the general consensus is that the largest plane in the world is the Antanov AN 225 strategic airlift cargo plane. Built in Ukraine by the Soviet Union in the 1980s, this plane is the heaviest plane ever built, weighing 285 tons or about 630,000 pounds. It also has the heaviest maximum takeoff weight of 640 tons or 1,280,000 pounds. Honestly, how does it even get off the ground? The answer is probably carefully. The Antonov is 270 feet long, 60 feet tall, and has a wingspan of 290 feet. Now, this is not the longest wingspan in the world, but I'll get into that in a moment. The Antonov is powered by 6 turbofan engines, each providing 46,800 pounds of thrust, and its landing gear consists of 32 wheels grouped into 16 pairs. Originally, it was built to transport shuttles and boosters for the Soviet space program. Now it's used to transport oversized cargo, such as your mom. Now, if wingspan is more important to you, don't worry, I have your back. The plane with the longest wingspan to date is the Model 351 StratoLaunch. But what if the 2 pilots start arguing in midair? This airplane is so big, it almost looks like 2 of them. It looks like something I could have built with Legos as a child. Ha ha, very funny. Announced in 2011, the StratoLaunch was designed to carry air-to-launch orbit rockets and was rolled out in 2017. It has a crazy wingspan of 385 feet and has a maximum takeoff weight of 1.3 million pounds, roughly the same as the Antanov 225. However, it has only been flown one time, which was mid-2019 for a total of 2.5 hours. I've literally spent more time working on this video than the plane has been in the air. With the death of this company's founder, Paul Allen, in 2018, the future of this plane is looking a bit uncertain. But yes, technically it is the largest plane in the world by wingspan. Now that we've done land and air, let's move on to the ocean. The largest ship in the world was the Seawise Giant, a ULCC supertanker. Just to get an idea of how large this ship was, here it is compared to the Titanic for scale. Besides Seawise Giant, the ship has also been renamed several times with names such as Opama, Happy Giant, and Jar Viking. Built in Japan in 1979, it is a whopping 1,504 feet long, which is about half a mile, and stands over 100 feet tall from keel to deck. In fact, if you were to flip it vertically, it would be one of the tallest buildings in the world. That would also be stupid. Fully laden, she weighed up to 657,000 tons, or almost 1.5 million pounds. In fact, this ship was so large that it was incapable of navigating the English Channel, the Suez Canal, or the Panama Canal. Being so large made this ship an easy target, and it was sunk in 1988 during the Iran-Iraq War. However, the ship was recovered, refurbished, and put back to use, until 2010, when it was finally retired and then dismantled. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to reveal the largest machine of all time, and that is the Large Hadron Collider. Built by the European Organization for Nuclear Research from 1998 to 2008, the Hadron Collider is the most powerful particle accelerator in the world. It lies underground beneath France and Switzerland in the shape of a massive donut, 27 kilometers in circumference. In case you were wondering, it has a top speed of 0 miles per hour, because it's not supposed to move. Using superconducting electromagnets, it is able to accelerate particles up to near the speed of light before colliding them together. The Hadron Collider is used for scientific research, with many physicists hoping that one day it will answer questions about quantum mechanics, relativity, and why Apple got rid of the headphone jack. If you are interested, you can take a virtual tour of their office and find out what brand of coffee is consumed by the super geniuses that work on this machine. Apparently, it's petit morceau, or something like that. I don't speak French, but it means small bits, which is rather fitting considering that it is a particle accelerator which accelerates small bits or particles. Additionally, you can view the live status of the accelerator, which, aw man. But anyways, there we have it. These are the current largest machines that exist, and if you made it this far, thanks for sticking around. This is a new style of content that I'm trying, so let me know what you think. I hope you have an amazing day, and I'll see you in the next video.